So they're going to be replacing the HEMI engine, as we all know and love it, with a straight six-cylinder engine that they're calling the Hurricane. Hurricane just doesn't really have the je ne sais quoi that a HEMI does coming off the tongue. You know what I'm saying? Is that a Hurricane? You got a Hurricane under the hood of that? Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? It's been your boy Knockout 360 here with another video for you guys. So as you can tell, I'm in the car. It's been a minute since we've done a car vlog. I've been trying to give you guys action. You guys have been craving action. You told me that you're tired of seeing my face, for which I'm giving you action. But every now and then we do have to sit down and talk about shop, right? Car content, car shows, car reviews, car meets, anything and everything car related happens on this channel. So if you're into that, make sure that you stick around because you're in the right place, right? Let's get into it. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. You guys know, like I know, this is not a secret, that they are slowly but surely going to be phasing out the HEMI engine. And I'm talking about the HEMI all the way from the RT to the Hellcat. But it seems like we finally, and we've been hearing reports about this, we've been seeing articles about this, we've been seeing reposts and all that stuff about this. But one thing that we haven't seen is actual evidence of what they're going to be replacing the HEMI with. Well, now they've given that to us. According to roadandtrack.com, which is a pretty legitimate source, they're going to be not necessarily replacing the HEMI as of right now, but adding this as an option, the Hurricane engine, which is a straight six, 500 horsepower, twin turbo, six-cylinder engine. It's going to be twin turbo, six-cylinder, straight six. So if you know anything about how a straight six is configured under the hood of your car, it's literally a straight six. I think some people call it straight line six. I think the BMW was doing that for a while, right? All right, guys, I apologize for interrupting the video, but we do have to thank our sponsors for this video. That's Simply Carbon Fiber, guys. Check them out at their website, www.simplycarbonfiber.com. I'll put the link in the description. I'll also put the link in this video so that you can check them out. Use my code KO10. That's KO10 for an additional 10% off your entire order. They've got everything from sunglasses, iPhone cases, and then, of course, money clips, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I'm rocking right now. Dig that. Holds up to 5 cards, big bills only on the back. But seriously, guys, real carbon fiber, lightweight, efficient, real simple, sleek, straight to the point, but it looks dope while you're doing it, guys. Check them out, simplycarbonfiber.com. I'll put the link in the description. Make sure that you use my code KO10 for an additional 10% off your entire order. Check them out. They're the real deal. Let's get back to the show. I could be thinking about inline blading or something like that. I don't know, but they used to have the engine set up to where the cylinders was in a straight line fashion or whatever the case may be. That's what they're going to be bringing to Dodge, and that's what they're going to be replacing the HEMI engine with. Now, the only problem with that is I did say 500 plus horsepower. I didn't say 700 or 8 or 900. I said 500. So you're only really replacing one engine per se. You're not even replacing all of them. Let's get into the details. Twin turbo, six-cylinder. I already told you that. They're saying that this could be ready to hit showroom floor as soon as this year. That's 2022. The Hurricane engine is going to come in 2 versions. That's 2. The first one is going to be standard output that they're calling simply the SO. Delivers up to or over 400 horsepower, 450 pound-feet of torque, and uses 22 pounds per square inch of boost, right? And that's where the twin turbo comes into play. And then the second option that they're offering is the HO, also known as high output. More than 500 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque with 26 pounds per square inch of boost for the turbos. Now, if you're familiar with both of those engines, 400 horsepower, 500 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque, that sounds like a Scat Pack engine, does it not? The current 6.4 Scat Pack is putting down 485 horsepower with 475 pound-feet of torque. The first vehicles that are supposed to be using a Hurricane engine will be appearing as soon as this year. I don't know if that's going to be in the Charger or Challenger. That they have not said specifically. One thing that they did say is that it's going to be a while before they completely phase out the HEMI. So needless to say, guys, we may have more time than we actually thought with the HEMI engine. They're not replacing that anytime soon, and they better not, because if Dodge for some reason just decides to get rid of the Hellcat engine next year as they're supposed to, I can almost guarantee you their revenue is going to be cut in half, if not by 60-70%. because nobody buys Dodge for the luxury. Nobody buys Dodge for the functionality, right? Like nobody buys Dodge muscle cars because they're good on gas or they're just good daily drivers. Although I love daily driving my Scat, it's still very much so a gas guzzling, loud, powerful V8 engine, and it's expensive. So people buy these cars for the performance, for the engine, for the sound. You know what I'm saying? If you take that shit away, Dodge will go back to what it was in like the late 90s, early 2000s. It'll lose it. You know what I'm saying? And then before you know it, people will be moving on to, I want to mention, with all of this quote unquote news, none of these powertrains are even close to the Hellcat engine. We saw 500 plus, we saw 400 plus, we did not see any 700 or 800 plus engines. So needless to say, that Hellcat engine is here to stay for a while. Dodge has not found out a way to get a V6 engine, a twin turbo V6 engine, to that type of power with this type of platform. So needless to say, that Hellcat engine is here to stay for a while. These numbers, although they're very similar to the Scat Pack numbers, I mean, the high output V6 twin turbo is going to be putting down more than 500 horsepower, 475 pound-feet of torque. As you all know, the Scat Packs are putting down 485 and then 475 pound-feet of torque. So that sounds similar, but at the same time, I can almost imagine people are still going to choose, if they have an option to choose a V8 Scat Pack over a twin turbo V6 that may be putting down 10 or 15 more horsepower, people are still going to choose the Scat. Let's just be honest here. The sound, the V8 capability, it's a Hemi, it's a true Hemi, it's a true 392. People are still going to choose a Scat over that. So let's just be honest here. The only way that these types of cars are going to sell is if the Hemi engine doesn't exist in that particular power range. And I say that to say, if you give people an option to choose a 400 horsepower straight line V6 twin turbo, or they can choose a 375 horsepower RT V8 Hemi, I can almost guarantee you people are still going to be choosing that V8 Hemi because it's a V8, because it's a Hemi, it's the real deal. If you give people the option to choose the high output 500 horsepower straight six or inline six or whatever the hell they're calling it, Hurricane engine, over a Scat Pack 392 with the V8 485 horsepower. Granted, that high output's got 15 to 20 more horsepower, but it doesn't have that V8 Hemi in it, right? People buy these cars because they want that damn 392. They want that Hemi, right? Now, granted, it may be more efficient on gas, may be more powerful on paper. It doesn't have a V8. Doesn't have the sound, doesn't have the power, the acceleration. It's not a V8. You feel what I'm saying? That's the equivalent of comparing Ford's Raptor, their newest Raptor, with the twin turbo engine to the TRX. The twin turbo is pretty fast. It sounds a lot better than the first generation of the Raptor, or not the first generation with the V8, but the second generation. But it's still a V6. You can polish a turd as much as you want to, but it's still very much so a turd. You can do all of the upgrades and all of the manufacturing capabilities that you want to a V6, but it's still very much so a V6. And I think Dodge guys will see through that every single time. They haven't talked about price. They haven't talked about the exact date that it's going to come out. They're saying that it could be on showroom floors by the end of this year. They didn't even say whether or not it would show up in the Charger, Challenger, a Jeep, a truck. They didn't say anything, so we don't know. One thing I can say is that if they try to sneak this option in, like under the RT and under the Scat Pack, I think that they're going to be pleasantly surprised as to how well it does not do. I didn't say that correctly. How disappointingly the sales are going to be, because I don't think anybody's ready to hand over their V8 for a V6. I can't see anybody who owns a 392 Scat Pack, 392 TA, 392 Daytona, or even a RT Charger, RT Challenger. I can't see anybody that owns those cars going back to Dodge and saying, I want that straight line V6. I want something that's quiet, that's got more power, and better on gas. That's not why we buy these cars. Like, the essence of these cars and what they do for us is more than just practicality. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing practical about the car that I'm driving. I looked at, I just had to fill up today, as a matter of fact, get gas or whatever. And today is the 27th of March. I happen to have my receipt from the last time I filled up on the floor, and I picked it up and I looked at it, and it was the 24th of March, the last time I filled up. So literally 3 days ago, in 3 days, I have completely depleted an entire tank. And you guys saw with the stuff that I was doing in my last video, so you know how I can kill a tank like that. But it's just like, there's nothing practical about these cars, so there has to be something else. It's the fan favorite, it's the cult, you know, movement, or whatever the case may be. It's the culture of owning a V8. I don't think Dodge is going to be successful with this V6 anytime soon. When everything is electric, maybe. When gas prices are $10 a gallon, maybe. But right now, people still want that big V8, and I'm one of them. But this does show you where the future is heading. Dodge finally gave us something concrete as to what they're potentially going to be replacing the Hemi with in the future. Two options. You got the standard output putting down 400 plus. You got the high output putting down 500 plus. You know, that takes care of, I guess, the 6.4 and the 5.7. But what about the 6.2? I don't see anything that's going to be replacing the Hellcat engine anytime soon. Hurricane does sound like a pretty cool engine, but Hurricane is not a Hemi. But that's just your boy here, man. As always, like, subscribe, comment. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.